Dear Dhamma friends, we are going to begin the Dhamma sermon. May you give your consent by saying Sadhu Sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Attime bhikkave dhamma bhavita bahuli kata apara parangamanaya samvattanti iti. Dear Dhamma friends, as you all can remember, we were discussing Parangama Sutta, which is available in Magga Samyukta, where Buddha is explaining the practice, where Buddha is explaining the path. Basically, if we consider the whole teaching as a summary, particularly in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, Buddha is explaining as 4 Satipatthanas, and then say 4 types of effort, then get into 4 kind of Iddhipadas, kind of wings of awakening, and then 5 faculties, 5 Indriya, and then get into the 5 powers, that is the Panchabala, and then get into 7 enlightenment factors, Satta Bojjhanga, and ultimately go into the path factors, Noble Eightfold Path. Now here in this sutta, the prominence is given, or the emphasis is given to the Noble Eightfold Path, and Buddha says, if one develops this path, these 8 factors, one would be able to cross to the other shore. So as a matter of fact, it is only a very limited people, only a few will cross to the other shore, but vast majority are simply going up and down in the same shore. So that is the first verse in this very sutta, in the Parangama Sutta. Buddha is telling, Appakate manussesu ye jana paragamino athayang itara paja tira mevanu dhavati. So what Buddha says there is appaka. Appaka means very few. Te manussesu ye jana paragamino. Among these vast amount of population, only a very few are crossing to the other shore. What happened to the rest? Athayang itara paja tira mevanu dhavati. The vast majority are simply traveling or running up and down in the same shore. So that is very much the typical nature of the beings. So we may be crossing, or rather we may be getting to say human realm. Then we may doing or engage with various activities. Probably we may reborn as human beings, or we may get into again a hell realm or animal realm or something. So then we are trapped there, again born as another animal, or get into further lower realm, another hell realm. So likewise we are trapped there, and again say due to some fortune coming back to the human realm. Again maybe assume that we go to celestial realm, assume that we go to Brahma realm, again come back to say human realm, again going to hell realm. Likewise we are simply rotating in this endless samsara. So this is like going up and down in the same shore, never crossing up to the other side. So it's very much like doing the same old mistake again and again. So this is the very nature of the samsara. So we are doing this same error, same mistake for long time, and we are repeating the same in this life as well. So therefore Buddha is giving us a separate path, teaching us a separate sort of an alternative path. Instead of rotating like this, continuing like this, is it possible to cross to the other shore? So this is something that we need to understand. So if we are to rotate again and again, if we simply have to enjoy whatever we were doing in this all this samsara, option is available. Even during the Q&A session, someone was asking, so I mean, how to simply accumulate merit? That is necessary in one sense, but merit actually in one sense giving us some amount of assets, some amount of accumulations that is helping us to rotate in the path as well, rotate in the samsara as well. But on the other hand, if we have any intention to break the path or break the cycle, break the vicious cycle, then we have to take another alternative option. So that is where one has to cultivate this Noble Eightfold Path. Actually, one occasion, Buddha to be at the Bodhisattva level, this is available in Padhana Sutta. So Buddha, the Bodhisattva is trying his best to investigate the path. He is not yet enlightened. So at that time, the Mara approached him and asking, what are you doing? I mean, you have a lot of wealth already. You have the kingdom. Your father is waiting with every support. All the resources are available. And you are a very meritorious being. And you have a lot of accumulated merit. Why don't you enjoy senses? Why don't you further accumulate merit? Just do more and more merit. So that is something you need to do. So this is a kind of a suggestion. It's a kind of a proposal that Mara is giving to the Buddha. Then Buddha is telling, so I have enough merit. True. More merit, accumulating more and more merit, and traversing in this whole samsara, going through the whole rebirth cycle again and again by accumulating more and more merit is not the path now I am searching for. Now I am searching for a alternative path, kind of a methodology, how to cross over, how to break this vicious cycle. So therefore, going against the current is something significant in this Noble Eightfold Path. So we are in a way trying to achieve something difficult. It is not that we are trying to rotate in the same vicious cycle that we are used to. Instead, we are trying to break the cycle and trying to go or swim against the current. So it may be difficult. So we may be again drift or captured by the various currents in this flooding, in this flood. But on the other hand, we are trying our best to going against the current. So this is the kind of the teaching that Buddha is emphasizing. That's why Buddha is telling there are two aspects of Sammaditthi. One is Sasava Punya Bhagya. It has the impediments, it has the fetters, it has the sort of inbuilt ignorance, avidya. At the same time, it generates karma, it generates merit, punya bhagya. But on the other hand, he is preaching the other side, that is the supramundane side. So that is anasava. It is actually cutting through the defilements. It is cutting through the tendencies, cutting through the habits. And that is lokuttara. That is supramundane. That is the magganga. That is the path factors. So therefore, we can't actually deny the mundane path. We should actually first establish ourselves in the morality, even in the samadhitti, the right view, the typical believing of the karma and all these, the morality parts that we have to establish ourselves. But stopping there or just being satisfied there is not the path. Just being stagnating there, just accumulating merit without thinking to cross over is something in a way is unfortunate. Because it is not the Buddha's whole sort of goal to tell us how to accumulate more and more merit. Rather, he is trying to give us a methodology, try to teach us a way to cross over, to go out of this cycle. So therefore, in a way, we have to think in a bit radical manner to get into that side. So that is the challenge, rather than simply doing the same sort of ignorant type of accumulation of merit. Merit also has these two aspects. It actually helps to give us good results, as well as it helps us to stop the cycle, penetrate the cycle, or to penetrate the karma. So that aspect is also there, and we should not forget that. So in the past sermons, actually we have discussed Sammaditthi, Samma Sankappa, and then yesterday we started Samma Vacha. So beginning the moral aspect of this Noble Eightfold Path. As you all are familiar, So the whole Noble Eightfold Path is summarized in 3 aspects. That is the Sila Sikha, the restraint or the morality aspect or morality restraint, and then the morality training, and then the Samadhi Sikha, that is the concentration aspect, and then the wisdom aspect, that is the Panya Sikha. So now we are getting to the morality side, and as I mentioned yesterday, so you can't forget morality and simply get hold of wisdom. So wisdom and morality go hand in hand. As Buddha very beautifully mentions, Panyavato Silang, Silavato Panya. For the wise person, morality is with him. For a moral person, the wisdom is with him. So these two have to go hand in hand. Otherwise, we may be simply following some lower instincts, going through some selfish sort of attitudes, forgetting about the moral side. On the other hand, if there is no wisdom, then we may be grasping, we may be holding too much onto the moral side, and we may get restricted there. We may feel burdened there. So that's why it is typically mentioned till one attained stream entry. So one might be thinking that even various rituals may help to purify oneself. Silabbata paramasa. So where kind of a wrong belief, by doing various rituals, by going through various ascetic practices, one can purify oneself. So that is in a way kind of a strong holding, strong asceticism, that if we are not correctly understood, then we might get into various ditti, wrong views. But on the other hand, more and more we develop in the practice, more and more we develop in the vipassana, so Buddha is leading us towards the supramundane sammaditthi, supramundane right view, where the relinquishment, where the freedom, not holding, not grasping, is more emphasized. So it is not that the sammaditthi that Buddha is recommending is something that we are holding as a view, as a belief, or as a dogma. Rather, relinquishing everything, rather purifying the mind, not holding to anything, or not grasping to anything, not clinging to anything. So that indicates that the Buddha's right view has a significant difference rather than the typical way of our own thinking. Typically we think, okay, ditti means some kind of an idea, so we are believing it. So sammaditthi means, okay, there are Buddha's teaching and we have to believe it, we have to hold it. Everything else is false, this is the truth. So this can be a kind of a view that we might be carrying. But on the other hand, Buddha is telling, if you are well established in the right view, you can't even grasp Dhamma. So that's a very radical expression. Actually, Buddha is telling, you can't even grasp his own teaching. There is no any other master, any other person, any other teacher who is telling us this kind of a radical advice. Even his own teaching is only to cross over, only to cross to the other shore. It is not to strongly carrying it on your head or on your shoulder. So this is a very kind of a radical statement, that even his teaching is very much kind of a for the pragmatic kind of a purpose, and we are using it. Ultimately, even that is not being carried on your head, holding to it, clinging to it, bearing it. Rather, even the mind is free from everything. So this kind of a freedom, this kind of a release, this kind of a renunciation is so prominent in Buddha's teaching. So till we come to some amount of understanding, we may be holding, we may be clinging, we may be grasping even morality. So there may be various situations that we may take moral aspects as strongly adhere to, and it feel like you are being stuck there. You can't move forward. You are being clung to something. Your mind is restricted. Your mind feel that you are being burdened. So in a way that at that time we need to understand, okay, I am holding things too much. I have to be a little flexible. I have to find the limit. I have to be in the comfortable zone rather than too much get into sort of self-indulgence or mortification kind of attitude. Rather, I have to come to the kind of a middle range where I can not neglect immorality and at the same time not going through any kind of a self-mortification sort of practice. So therefore, it's a kind of a balance that we need to find out, not forgetting morality and at the same time not taking it too hard and basically hindering the mind, not allowing the mind to bloom. So therefore, even the moral side we need to be carefully handled, and therefore Buddha says only for one who attained the stream winning Sotapanna state that he know the proper dose. Otherwise we may take overdose or we may take nothing at all. So we may be forgetting at all. So properly understanding the right amount is again is kind of a significant factor that we need to understand slowly. So Samma Vacha is something we started yesterday. So we have described about false speech, Musavada Veramani. Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami, or very much like abstaining from false speech. Because as we can understand from Buddha's very life, so he has given us a very good example. Even though he, during his long journey, once he has determined to become a Buddha, he might have broken various other precepts due to, unmindfulness, due to various reasons, but not this one, not the falsehood. So therefore, he has, even sacrificing his own life, he has tried his best to protect this particular precept. So being a truthful person is something that we have to value in that sense. So the results may not be immediate, as we discussed on yesterday. So sometimes it appears like today's world, in this economic world, if you are trying to be truthful, you can never win. You can never market. You can never advertise. Or you can never earn some benefit or profit. But on the other hand, if you are trying to going against the current, if you are a truth seeker, then we need to understand, where am I exaggerating? Where am I doing where am I crossing to the other border, crossing the border and doing some exaggeration, sort of cheating or sort of augmenting. So likewise, we need to carefully scrutinize and understand, even in today's terms, in economic terms, if we are engaged in some sort of a occupation where we need to balance. Because as we discussed yesterday, if we start to become very truthful, then people will understand we are kind of a reliable person. So we are having some principles behind our own life. So we are trying to adhere to certain principles. So it may not give us big benefits immediately, but due to others' sort of observation, they will give us some credibility to ourselves. So this credibility will slowly improve, and they will understand this person is sort of trustworthy, a reliable person, and therefore he's a dependable person. So then more and more, maybe sort of tasks may be assigned, maybe some trustworthy sort of designations are given, trustworthy assignments are given. So likewise, the occupation or whatever the path may open up because of our ability to be truthful, our ability to be trustworthy, our ability to be reliable, and the others understand he is a dependable person. So likewise, these, even though it appears like very difficult to achieve in this today's money-minded world, still one can maintain these qualities which others will slowly understand. It is not that you need to market even the quality. Rather, others will understand by close association that what are the sort of inherent qualities, inherent principles that we are trying to adhere to, and those are not really marketable in today's terms, but people will slowly understand these qualities and they start to trust, they start to sort of reward accordingly. And then we can get into the other part of the Samma Vacha, that is called abstaining from the slandering type of speech. Pisuna Vacha Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami. So as we discussed, so this speech, the skill to communicate is something unique among the humankind, even though in a very primitive sense it is available among the animals, but we are the ones gifted with this very good skill. Actually, we are the ones misusing that as well. Now, if you think about animal realm, so I don't think that there are any animal going to hell realm again because of false speech, because of slandering, or because of idle chattering, or because of harsh speech. They may be doing various wrong bodily activities, and they have very primitive methods of communication, but we are the ones, vast majority, going to hell realm because of this very beautiful quality. Very important, very powerful communication skill ultimately being misused by the humankind. So if you consider among the family members, there are certain sort of splits happen. Because sometimes we are being malicious. We are talking in a malicious way to others. So very beautifully mentioned in the Dhamma, it is mentioned like, say, someone hears something at this place and going to another place and telling that in order to divide. And then by being there, he listens what is going on there and come to this place and speak it in order to divide. So this is kind of a malicious speech. This is a kind of a slandering kind of speech where one is splitting others, dividing others. So Pisuna Vacha Veramani is something actually very significant in the household life. Probably you may know better than me. I also might know because I have spent 36 years in my family life. Sorry, as a layman I was 36 years. Then only I became a monk. So actually these are the things happening among, say among your brothers, among your sisters, among the husband and wife, among the relatives. So why all these divorce cases and everything are happening? Mostly because of this kind of a malicious speech. So the kind of a untrust being developed when someone coming and sort of giving some wrong interpretation about something has happened. Various people are not encouraging in a way kind of peaceful living, rather they come and trying to put some germs. They come and put various other unnecessary information where husband starts to doubt about the wife starts to doubt about the husband, maybe say sister starts to doubt about the brother starts to doubt about another brother. So like a lot of splits, lot of complications, lot of quarrels going to begin. So same situation available in the large scale. Now family level, the same situation. If we consider the society level, someone someone hears something and he goes to another place and telling it in a malicious way. So the another community starts to sort of doubt about another community. Now the conflicts happen in between communities, among the communities, and then among the nationalities. So and ultimately end up with great wars. Even though it starts with very little things, ultimately slowly it will end up with great wars among the nations, among the countries. So this is not something therefore we have to neglect, rather we have to understand how to avoid this kind of slandering speech. Instead, how we can improve the peace within a family, how we can improve the peace among communities, how we can improve peace or sort of good understanding among communities, among nationalities, among countries. So therefore Buddha very beautifully mentions the practitioner. He is someone who never try to split, who never try to divide the peace-loving people or already very peaceful family. He is never trying to split. So if I just tell a little bit about what Buddha is telling. So pisunang vacham pahaya pisunaya vachaya pativirato hoti. So Buddha is telling he relinquishes the slanderous speech and he avoids abstaining slandering speech. Itos sutva na amutra akkhata imesam bedhaya. Amutrava sutva na imesam akkhata amusam bedhaya. That is what I have mentioned already. So by hearing what at one place, he is not going to tell at another place in order to divide. By hearing at another place, he is not come and speech at this place in order to divide. So he is not practicing some sort of that kind of an attitude, that kind of a practice. Instead, what he does, iti binnanang va sandhata. Now he is doing the opposite. If someone has already splitted, if someone has already sort of having some misunderstanding, now he becomes kind of the reconciler. He come and trying to sort out the issue. So he is becoming the mediator in order to join people, in order to create the peace among people, in order to create the peace among family. Whoever is split, now he is trying to join. He is trying to establish good understanding, eliminate misunderstandings. So he becomes a kind of a peacemaker, kind of a reconciliator, and that is the path that Buddha is showing. That is the path Buddha is appreciating. Iti binnanang va sandhata and sahitanang va anupadata. That means if someone is really already peaceful, coordinating each other, then he encourages that. So he strengthens that. Samagga Rama, Samagga Ratu, Samagga Nandi. Now all related to peace, all related to the accord. Samagga Rama means that he rejoices in, or he likes to the accord. He likes to be peace. So if a community is in good peace or good understanding, he likes to enjoy that. He recommends that. He encourages that. Samagga Ratu, he loves peace. Basically, he's sort of someone, rather than splitting, he rather enjoys a community by seeing that they are living harmoniously. Samagga Nandi, he rejoices in that, he delights in the peace. Samagga Karaning Vacha Bhasita. Now, when he is talking about in order to make peace. Samagga Karaning Vacha Bhasita. That is the exact opposite of Pisuna Vacha. Pisuna Vacha is something that one is trying to divide. Here, Samagga Karaning Vacha Bhasita. That means someone is talking in order to make peace, in order to join people, in order to avoid misunderstanding, in order to give sort of a harmony among people. So, actually, during Buddha's own life, Buddha has, in many situations, Buddha has done that. I'll give few examples. If you could remember, there was a kind of a situation between his own relatives. Actually, Sakya and the Kolya are his own relatives. But there was a split, there was a kind of a war situation happened because of a particular river. And Buddha approached there and tried to reconcile that. So ultimately he is asking, are you sort of valuing this water than the human life? So actually we are fighting on such kind of a typical this material resources, sacrificing the life, sacrificing the human life. Not respecting the human birth or human life, but fighting for something materialistic. But if we are getting to more understanding, if we are going further, then probably we can live very peacefully, live harmoniously, even among communities, even among nationalities. So this sometimes actually bit hard to believe at the beginning because we always have some sort of a doubt. Sometimes we think, okay, the other party might misuse it. Other party might surrender me or harm me. So likewise, some sort of a doubt may be there. So the peacemaker, the reconciliator's job is therefore to eliminate that doubt and to build up the trust, build up the understanding, and to eliminate that untrustworthy sort of situation and then get into the harmony. So therefore, Buddhism in that sense actually was well renowned as a very peaceful religion. Now, there are many situations. Say, for example, recently I have come across, Buddha statues in Afghanistan. Probably you might have seen it. In some years ago, certain Buddha statues were blown out, and even currently there are still some excavations are there where the Buddhist monasteries are available and all these things. Because Buddhism has gone very far away to various corners of the whole world because it's a kind of a peace-loving kind of a religion. It is not going after any kind of a revenge or any kind of extremism. Rather, it's trying to welcome everyone and allowing free thinking and going through understanding. So therefore, Buddha's teaching is making kind of an accord, making kind of an agreement among people, making a peace among people rather than dividing. So therefore, we need to understand this very carefully, because if we think that if we strongly hold some certain dogmatic kind of views, even we might think, okay, we have to protect it. Yes, true, but how? Are we going to fight, or are we going to war in the name of the religion, or are we simply following the Buddha's teaching? So therefore, it's very careful path. We have to be very carefully analyze it and what Buddha is telling. So in a way, Buddha's teaching, direct teaching, is very harmless. So there are very significant kind of examples Buddha has given. Now, say for example, in Kakachupama Sutta, Buddha is telling, even if one is cutting limb by limb, if Buddha is telling, if one is thinking harm of that person, then he is not a true believer or true follower of my teaching. So to that extreme Buddha has gone. So therefore, certain monks used to tell, okay, Buddha has given this simile, Buddha has given this kind of a teaching. So there are no excuses if I am trying to be sort of angry about this particular person. So therefore, revenge, anger, tit for tat, this kind of attitude is never being welcomed by Buddha. And there's a very beautiful verse in the Dhammapada. There Buddha is telling, Sache neresi attanang kanso upahato yatha. Esa pattosi nibbanang sarambo tena vijjati. Now you know, if you strike onto a gong, kind of a metal gong, then it will vibrate or it will echo. But on the other hand, if it is broken, once you strike onto it, stop. That's it. So therefore, Buddha is advising, so if don't go for tit for tat, don't go for any kind of a revenge. Instead, try to be peaceful, try to calm down. Even when someone is telling something, if you are trying to react, then you are not really following my teaching. Rather, you have to be like a broken gong, like a broken metal vessel where there is no reaction coming out. Rather than you are peaceful. Rather, very much like you attain Nibbana. Esa pattosi Nibbanam. Sarambo tena vicchati. And you are like attain Nibbana. There is no kind of a reaction, there is no retaliation, or there is no revenge. So therefore, such kind of a deeper teachings are there in the Buddha's path. So on the other hand, there are a lot of other aspects in this side. So are we able to forgive others? Are we able to forgive ourselves? So these are another aspects we have to think. Because when we are not forgiving, then it will lead to this kind of retaliations, this kind of revenge. But if we are able to forgive others as well as ourselves, then there's a possibility of reconciliation. Then there's a possibility of making peace. Till we strongly hold that the other person is wrong, I am correct, he should be punished, I have to do something for him, I have to tell something to him likewise, then we can never make peace. So there's a very famous statement in Dhammapada, Nahi verena verani sammantida kudachana. Averenata sammanti esa maggo sanantano. So basically, the revenge is never calm down or eliminated by revenge. Instead, it will be eliminated only by peace, only by sort of forgiving. So these are actually certain good principles in Buddha's teaching. Sometimes we even forget. Because, say for example, we are meditating, assume that someone is making a little noise. So immediate reaction is, why he is doing like that? This is the meditation time. This is the sitting hour. So why he is doing like that? Don't he know the rules and regulations? So this is the kind of a reaction coming to our mind. So, there is no big difference than the typical society level reaction. So we ourselves, while meditating, we have the same instinct, same kind of reaction. So similarly, when someone is in the society and he is making a kind of a statement, immediate reaction coming in ourselves. So it is not that we need to go too far to understand these things happening in our mind. Rather, in this here itself in Kalalgoda, when someone is little, sometimes the door is open with little noise. Just to check whether you are peaceful, whether you can maintain peace, whether you can be mindful. But unfortunately, I am angry with him. So I am trying to complain to the RO. So a lot of problems are there. So, but if we can, at that time, if I can forgive that person, if I can forgive myself, and allow the mind to come back to the primary object, allow the mind to settle back, instead of introducing new defilements, instead of promoting hindrances, then that is where we are adhering to that Buddha's principle, Sachene resi attanam kanso upahato yata. Esa pattosi nibbanam. Then you have attained nibbana. You are in nibbana. It is not that you are meditating now and attain nibbana 10 years ahead. Rather, at that time, if you are able to be peaceful, when the door is open with noise, if you can come back without making yourself angry, then you have attained nibbana. So it is very easy in that sense, I don't know. But slowly, that is how we have to go against the current. So we need to understand the typical human reaction that our mind is habituated. Our mind is habituated to react, immediately to complain, immediately to react, immediately to fight, immediately to blame. Rather, now we are taking an opposite path. Now we recognize that reaction. Okay, I am mindful, I am developing mindfulness. Some incident happened, some noise has happened, a sound occurred, that sound has come to the eardrum has vibrated. So why am I get angry? So for this eardrum vibration, so I am interpreting as he did that. For this eardrum vibration, can he come and vibrate your eardrum? So basically, so if we are able to analyze in that sense, so it's very unlikely that we can personify this experience. So therefore, very beautifully mentioned in various suttas, Say, for example, in Mahahatti-Padopama Sutta, Venerable Sariputta is telling, someone is scolding. And he is telling, so there is an ear, there is a sound coming. And the eardrum is vibrating. So that's all. And there are no arguments. There are no blaming, there are no reactions. There's an eardrum vibration. So, and again, then says, that is where we have to go to that ditte ditta mattang, sute sutta mattang, mute mutta mattang, viññāte viññāta mattang. Till we are making stories out of all these experiences, we are the ones boiling. We are the ones arguing. We are the ones getting angry. So we can never be at peace. So we can actually never flatten the ground. We can never make the whole world beautiful. We can't make the whole world thinking the way we like. So that we can never do. That's the way it is. So at this moment, if I am able to understand, okay, there is a sound coming, there is a eardrum here, there's a vibration here, there's a reaction also coming, doesn't matter. But rather than reacting, rather than going and blaming that person, can I recognize this reaction? This own reaction. This is a habit. This is a tendency in the mind. There's a reaction. This is a tendency which I am used to react. I was doing that for many eons, reacting, going and blaming. I was doing. Now, at least now, can I recognize that? Instead of reacting, now I am recognizing, oh, there's a kind of a burning effect in the heart. So I am opening my eyes, looking at that person, not reacting, not blaming, not using harsh words. Internally little burning, true, but avoiding, slowly diminishing. So this is the only way to avoid it. Very difficult. Because it is very easy to tell when there is no any such reaction, there is no such real situation. But when we are going through the real situation, when the real reaction is boiling inside, so it's a kind of an opposite direction we have to turn. That is the exact going against the current. That is the way that the Patisotagami, not Anusatagami, but Patisotagami, going against the current. The typical reaction, the typical program happening inside the mind is to react, is to blame, is to get the revenge. But the other opposite, the teaching, the path is to understand this reaction and not to react, but to ferry it away. Allow it to be, forgive and forget. Not easy. Forgive and then forget. Till we forget and till we are again and again taking to the memory, and till we are thinking he did the wrong, he did bad, he scolded me, he is not telling the right, he is not telling the truth, blah blah blah, we can never ever be at peace. So because we can't, as I said, we can't expect everybody to be at peace, or everybody to respect me, or everybody to sort of maintain 5 precepts or whatever it is. So it is my duty. I am the one trying to go in against the current. I am the one who's trying to understand these reactions in myself. I am the one who is trying to understand these past habits on which my mind is conditioned. Now I have to see within. I have to introvert this attention. I have to recognize this sort of urge coming to the mind, this reaction coming to the mind. And slowly, we are correcting ourselves. Not others maybe, but correcting ourselves. So this is in a way, it's a kind of a practical path. So even though we are talking about slanderous speech, so it is not necessary to go and blame or go and use some harsh words. Rather, even in the real meditation, even in the practice, these things are very practically we are experiencing. So whenever someone is even walking sometimes, say someone is walking in a different style, sometimes even can make us a little unhappy. He hasn't done anything. He's walking in a different style, but I don't like that. So mind want to correct that. So, I mean, can you correct that? So, this is how our mind is programmed. Every time fault finding, like, every time we are reacting. So, this is something we have to honestly understand how we are being framed. We are being sort of stereotyped. Kind of a way of thinking. Instead of open heart and understanding, I mean, I myself is not perfect. So how come another person be perfect? I am trying my best to sort of understand my own defilements. He is not yet meditating. So then how can I expect him to be perfect? So this is something actually we can think, actually practically think. So instead of using slanderous speech, therefore Buddha is advising kind of a peace, making peace, and therefore he is beautifully mentioned in Metta Sutta, commonly mentioned as Karaniya Metta Sutta, that one is having sort of a loving kindness towards everybody like a mother protecting his own single child. I mean, to what extent Buddha is giving us this teaching? So, Karaniya Metta Sutta, so there Buddha is mentioning, so let not anyone deceive another person. Let one has kind of an attitude that like oneself is protecting, like a mother protecting, even risking her own life, her own child, own son. May all living beings be well and happy. So this is the kind of a path Buddha is advising us. So it is not that we have to every time say, may you well and happy, may you well and happy. Rather, in the Vipassana practice itself, can we have such kind of attitude? Sometimes, now say for example, when we are leading towards Vipassana, we might not be involved with loving kindness meditation, metta meditation. But more and more you are advancing Vipassana, this sort of the relinquishment in the mind, the opening in the mind, peace in the mind, non-grasping nature in the mind has to have this kind of inherent qualities. It is not that even at that stage that we have to practice metta meditation, rather the Vipassana itself has to have these inbuilt qualities. So this is something sometimes it's difficult to understand, because sometimes we think Vipassana is a little dry. We are always observing rising and falling, always observing in-breath and out-breath, or always observing various element characteristics, always observing the impermanence of the phenomena, unsatisfactoriness of the phenomena, non-self of the phenomena. So very dry. Where is loving kindness? So actually sometimes it is true, because if we are into the continuous observation, sometimes practice can become dry, true. At that time, of course, we have to introduce some loving kindness, but not to the personal level. It is not that we are trying to personify, telling, oh, may you be well and happy, may all human beings well and happy, may my mother, father be well and happy. Then actually we are going against the practice. Because metta meditation in the typical sense is based on the personal view, where the common understanding. Human beings are there, animals are there, devas are there, the personal view is there. But when we are progressing in Vipassana, we have to go in a different manner, where we can at least go to the all beings without any boundary, without any kind of a selection. May all beings well and happy. Then kind of an opening happen. Rather than narrowing our mind, narrowing our scope, then we have a kind of a very broadened wish that may all beings well and happy. So that's kind of an environment in the mind is helpful for Vipassana. Actually, even Buddha has mentioned that even bojjhangas can be developed based on metta. Metta sahagatena sati sambojjhangam bhaveti. Viveka nisitang, viraga nisitang, nirodha nisitang, hosagga parinami. Each and every bojjhanga, each and every enlightenment factor can be developed based on loving kindness. So this is a very unique teaching in Buddha, in Dhamma. which is not available in other teachings. Buddha is categorically telling that even though metta meditation, loving kindness is available in other teachers with other religious groups, but developing metta amalgamated, combined with this enlightenment factors is something unique. So one can have this kind of a very soft nature in the mind, loving kindness background in the mind, and by being there, you can develop further enlightenment factors. So therefore, loving kindness, if one develops very to high levels, it becomes a metta ceto vimutti. That one achieves freedom of mind based on metta, based on loving kindness. It's a great opening. So typically our minds are very narrow. We are like, say if I'm just giving an example, we may like only our family members, not anyone else. Say you don't care about neighbors, you don't care about other families, you don't care about the country, you don't care about other nationalities, you don't care about the world, but you are very care about your own child. Maybe your husband, maybe your wife, maybe your mother, father, that's all. So in that sense, we are very narrow-minded. But if we are practicing metta meditation, we have to broaden our scope. Slowly we have to broaden the scope. We may be starting with our family, true. Maybe starting with our teacher, someone you really respect. And that amount of metta has to be equally distributed to another person as well, spread to another person as well. Say for example, you are practicing metta meditation towards a teacher, same-sex teacher. And then say you are developing fair amount of metta, loving kindness. Now you take another person. Say you are now spreading metta towards that person. So you have to come to the equal level that you are able to achieve to your teacher. And then say you take another person where you have some equanimity. And then you have to develop the same metta to the same level. Then even you would be able to take an enemy and to spread metta to the same level. So likewise, we are now breaking the boundaries. And then we are able to spread metta towards all beings in this front direction, or say south direction, all beings in the north direction, all beings in east direction, all beings in west direction. So likewise, now you are spreading metta. Like a source of metta, now you are opening the heart. Now complete opening of yourself happens. Now you are entering the metta ceto vimutti, where the freedom of mind, not narrowed down. Now it is boundless, no more boundaries. So a great opening in the mind. So this can be used as a ground for vipassana. So Buddha is taking even that path as a ground for developing vipassana. If one develops metta meditation to this level, to the freedom of mind achieved through loving kindness, so that level can be used as a kind of a platform to develop vipassana, because it's a very comfortable state of mind. So you have a very boundless, limitless, immeasurable nature in the mind. So every time, assume that there's a defilement arise in the mind, you can simply look at it, let it go, return back to this ground, which is very beautiful, which is immeasurable. It's a Brahma Vihara. It's like a Brahma. So therefore, there are various ways of developing vipassana. It is not only that we do, say, element meditation and then get into various understanding and then get into, say, anisita, that unassociated state, and that state being used as the ground, as the platform. That is actually one approach. But there are various other techniques that Buddha has mentioned. So using loving kindness, the freedom of mind, the metta ceto vimutti as a ground is one technique. And not only that, even one can use mudita ceto vimutti, feeling happy about someone else's success. So typically the slanderous speech happens because of the opposite. Someone is living very beautifully, they are loving each other, they are living a very peaceful life, good family life, but I am jealous about it. So then I am using slanderous speech. Then I am using divisive speech. But instead of thinking like that, if I can be happy, if I can be joyful by seeing that someone is living very cordially, someone is living very peacefully, they are behaving in a very harmonious manner, then if I can generate some happiness, so that is the mudita. That's a Brahma Vihara. So that is the teaching of the Buddha. Buddha is telling, so loving kindness and Brahma Vihara means that it's a kind of a not even human-like. You are like a Brahman. And then how about mudita? When someone is living very peacefully, cordially, happily, and then being happy about it, and you are being internally feel happy that they are doing really good, they are progressing in their job, so they have given a promotion, they have given an increment. Can you be happy without being jealous? So these are something going against the current. Typically the mind might tell, okay, why he has given increment, why not I? So probably the CEO has favored him. I also was doing hard work. Why not he favored me? Or why don't he reward me? Why only him? So this is the kind of a jealous, the kind of a rational thinking, fault finding. So can we think the opposite? Can we go against the current? Okay, next time, probably he might reward me as well, doesn't matter. Now the other person was rewarded. Can I be happy by seeing he is now rewarded? He has given a promotion. He has given a increment. Now they have brought a new car. Can I be happy? So I am just driving my old car, Morris Minor. Doesn't matter. Now they bought a new car. Can I be happy? So these are actually something very practically we can apply. We can understand, is it kind of a jealousy arising in the mind or kind of a happiness happening in the mind? That actually we can honestly see ourselves. Actually this is in a way Chittanupassana. It is not, you don't need to come to Kalalgoda to do these things. In a way, while being in the society, you can feel. So when your neighbor has brought a new car, can you be happy? Can you develop altruistic joy rather than being jealousy? So these are something that you can observe the mind, how mind reacts. The typical reaction could be, doesn't matter, sort of kind of jealous. So we need to recognize, okay, the habit is that. Habit is the jealousy. Doesn't matter, now I am recognizing it. Now I am not reacting it. Now I am not using any slanderous speech to divide that family. I mean, this jealousy and these kind of bad, kind of unwholesome qualities are the ones promoting us to go to another step, to go for division, go for slanderous speech, go for kind of malicious speech. But if we can recognize, come back to ourselves and recognize, okay, there's a kind of a anger, there's a kind of a resentment, there's a kind of a jealousy being arisen in the mind, that is the past habit. Okay, I am not being a victim to that anymore. I am now trying to go against the current. Now I am recognizing it. This is anger, this is resentment, this is a reaction, this is a jealousy. Now you forgive yourself as well. Now rather than undermining, rather than looking down ourselves, okay, this is the habit, this is why I am traveling in this samsara all these eons. Because I couldn't recognize it. Rather I have become a victim so far. Now I am going against the current. Now I have understood this reaction. I have understood this jealousy as jealousy. And Buddha is telling, Panyaya disva pahatabba. This is the only way to diminish it. Panyaya disva pahatabba. You have to see it very clearly, jealousy as jealousy. we have to be very honest. We can't be immediately saints. Rather, we have to understand, okay, still my mind has jealousy. Now it has arisen. I have seen that the neighbors have brought a new car. Now jealousy has arisen. Okay, this is jealousy. So now I am looking at it like a apple on my hand. Okay, this is jealousy. It is not me, it is not mine, it is jealousy. Now I am not promoting it. No more I am a victim of jealousy. I am looking at it objectively. Now it is slowly fading away. I am not reacting. I am not going for any malicious speech. I am not going for any slanderous speech. Now next time also jealousy might arise, but to less level. It may not harm me and no second thought even. Because I am able to recognize it at very inception level. So this slanderous speech therefore is the kind of the reaction happen at very high level. But below that, if you come to the bottom of it, the root of it, root cause may be certainly sometimes jealousy. Instead of having mudita, we may have jealousy. Now, if we are able to eliminate jealousy, if we are able to tackle jealousy, probably I might be able to introduce the opposite. That is the mudita. Can I be happy about that he is now enjoying some good comfort? He is now fortunate. So, can I be happy about that? Seeing that someone is very fortunate now. He is lucky now. So, this is a kind of a going against current. Exactly going against the current. So, and there are various other information that Buddha has given. One thing is that mudita, and another thing is the karuna, having compassion when someone is in danger, in somewhat helpless situation, one can develop compassion. And on the other hand, there are situations that we have to be equanimous. Then all these levels actually can be used as the ground, as the platform to develop even vipassana. So it is therefore, when one is developing vipassana, so if one is capable of maintaining freedom of mind, anisita state, unassociated state, or unentangled state, spacious of the mind. So these metta, loving kindness, mudita, that is the altruistic joy, maybe equanimity, upekha, and even the compassion, that karuna has to be slowly inbuilt. So we need to recognize, is my practice extremely dry, or is it ingrained, or is it inbuilt with these Brahma Viharas? So if they are included, then our practice becomes very beautiful. So that is how, in a way, vipassana becomes very beautiful. We don't need to import these qualities. More and more we understand the freedom of mind. So then when someone is reacting, when someone is behaving badly, when someone is trapped in their defilements, or when someone has victimized to defilements, then we can understand, I was also like that. I was also like that, but now I am free. Now I can recognize, now I can maintain freedom of mind, but he is not. He has to be sympathized in that sense. I also was like that, but now I am somewhat free, but the poor fellow still suffering, still going through as a victim of various defilements. Actually, we are in a way very helpless, because till we develop mindfulness and fair amount of concentration and fair amount of wisdom, we are simply victims of defilements. There are, in the deeper sense, there are no beings, no persons. Ultimately, sort of dhammata, the mental processes and the physical processes are operating. Because of our own ignorance, we are personifying. But more and more we realize that, so slowly we can simply let it happen. We can simply let it go and avoid reactions and spread metta, mudita, karuna, upekha. So with that note, I will conclude today's Dhamma sermon. Thank you very much for attentive listening.